Europeans arrive in the Caribbean. What was Columbus's role in the exploration and colonization of the Caribbean and the American continents? On August 3rd, 1492, Christopher Columbus set sail from Palos, Spain, with three ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Columbus intended to cross the Atlantic Ocean to find a quicker sea route to Asia, especially the rich lands of Japan and China. On October 12th, 1492, men on the Pinta sighted land. Although Columbus and his crew thought they had reached Asia, they actually landed on what would later be known as Walton's Island in the Bahamas. All right, so Christopher Columbus, I know you guys have heard about him since you were in elementary school. So on August 3rd, 1492, he set sail from Spain. He was trying to find a faster route to get over to Asia, mainly Japan and China, so that he could trade things. He was looking for a faster trade route. Okay, however, when he landed, he thought he was in Asia, but he wasn't. He was in the Bahamas. For 3 months, Columbus and his crews explored the islands of the Caribbean, landing on the islands of Cuba and Hispaniola, the island that contains the modern-day countries of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Columbus and his crew also met the native peoples of these lands, the Taino. By 1494, the Spanish, led by Columbus, had established a permanent settlement in Hispaniola and began their conquest of the island. As a result of these encounters in the Caribbean, Europeans from different nations explored, settled, and conquered the Americas over a period of about 300 years. Competition for exploration led to a treaty between Spain and Portugal in 1494, which gave Spain the exclusive right to explore and conquer almost all of the land in the Americas. The treaty gave Portugal the right to explore and conquer lands in Africa, Asia, and the land in South America that would become Brazil. While this treaty was supported by the Pope, many other countries ignored the treaty and sent their own explorers to conquer land abroad. Okay, so they got there, they landed. Christopher Columbus and his crew for 3 months, they explored and they looked around. They were in Cuba and Haiti and the Dominican Republic, okay? They also met the people that lived there. Columbus settled there. He decided he was going to stay, okay? And he began the conquest of the land, which meant he began fighting and taking over the land from the native people that lived there, okay? So Columbus discovered the Caribbeans, and then other Europeans began coming over, okay? And they also began to explore and conquer or take over these lands in the Americas, okay? And that happened for about 300 years. So what happened is they had to come up with a peace treaty where they would decide who could go to which part. So Spain got the exclusive right to explore the land in the Americas, and Portugal got the right to go to Africa and Asia and South America, okay? So the Pope supported this, but not everybody did, because they decided they wanted to go conquer land themselves. While Columbus may be one of the most recognizable names of the time, he was not alone in his quest. In 1497, Italian-born navigator John Cabot set out to find a sea route to Asia for the British. Instead, he discovered Canada. That same year, Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci embarked on the first of 3 voyages. Looking to find a route to Cape Verde off the coast of Africa, he instead discovered Rio de Janeiro and Rio de la Plata in South America. Assuming he'd found a new continent, Vespucci called the discovery the New World. In 1507, the German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller officially named the continent America in honor of Vespucci. Okay, so Columbus is one of the most, we all know about Christopher Columbus. He sailed the ocean blue. We've heard it a million times. But he wasn't the only one who set out and discovered new lands. Okay, John Cabot, he set out to Asia, okay, and he found Canada instead. An Italian explorer, he set out on some voyages, and he discovered Rio de Janeiro and Rio de la Plata in South America. Okay, so he thought that he had found a new continent. And later, actually, America became named after him. Deeper in the Americas, in 1513, explorer Juan Ponce de Leon traveled along the coast of what is now Florida. The same year, another Spanish explorer, Vasco Nunez de Balboa, crossed the Isthmus Panama. In doing so, he became the first European explorer to cross the American continents and set eyes on the Pacific Ocean. 400 years later, the Panama Canal would open across the same isthmus, finally creating a direct route from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific. Okay, so in 1513, a Spanish explorer, he came out, he traveled the coast of what is now Florida, okay? So lots of different people were discovering lots of different areas over about a 400-year period. Despite the discoveries in the Americas, the search for a sea route to Asia continued. In 1519, Ferdinand Magellan launched 5 ships from Spain and navigated around the southern tip of South America. Although he died in 1521, his expedition continued without him. The first sailors to travel around the entire globe, Magellan's expedition returned to Spain in 1522 and proved that the world was indeed round. The sea channel that Magellan took between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean was aptly named the Strait of Magellan. During this important age of exploration, 2 vastly different worlds intersected: the Americans and Europe. The exchange of people, ideas, plants, animals, technologies, and diseases between these 2 worlds shaped their history for the next 500 years. Okay, so all these people are leaving the European countries and they're coming over across the sea. They think they're going to Asia, but they end up finding lots and lots of different places, which are now the Americas and the Caribbean and Haiti and the Dominican Republic, all kinds of stuff, okay? So Americas have been found, but they were still trying to get from a quicker sea route from Europe to Asia, okay? So Ferdinand Magellan, he took 5 ships to do this, okay? He died, but the voyage and the journey still continued, and they were actually able to do it. And they proved that the world was round because of the way that they sailed around all the water, okay? And so the sea channel, the path that Magellan took between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, that became the Strait of Magellan.